the one word we haven't said at all throughout this whole conversation is trust. And that how much of the value of all of this stuff comes down to, do you trust it? And that the reason people are resistant, if you really ask them why, is because they don't trust it. Whether it's that inferiority complex, or it's their own reference point bias of using in the past and having a bad experience. There's all these different reasons why. And the faster you can recognize which of those reasons is their reason, and to know what the response to that fear is, that's how we're going to start to move those folks forward and give them space to, be frustrated and vent and say why they're frustrated, just as you do a great job doing. But it's doing that venting and then knowing what the answer to that vent is that's going to move people forward. Otherwise, we're all just going to, console in our griping of why people aren't doing what they should be doing, but we're not really talking about why they should be doing it in the first place.
Right. And again, you build that respect by putting that right person in the seat.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to give a 55-year-old general foreman who's been laying out work 25 years a model that was developed by a 24-year-old young man or woman that just out of college and never installed a piece of pipe, and have them just say, "Oh, I'm just going to turn a blind eye to everything that I see is wrong and just going to install it." They're not going to do that. And honestly, you really shouldn't want them to do that. Where you're going to get that respect is, let's turn it around and say, you have that 55-year-old general foreman who's been laying 20 years worth of work out there, and he's been working with a crew of 5 or 6 men and women that are working in there. Now, all of a sudden, he transitions into the office, and one of that field member, one of that crew becomes the new foreman on there. Do you think he's going to respect the model that's been given to him by the same guy that's been laying out his work for the last 20 years? Of course he is. And if he doesn't, then it's just an ego thing, because he wanted to go sit in the seat maybe, or whatever it is. But that's where that comes in. When you have that ability, when I was in the field, I considered myself a valuable general foreman, because I would go out in front of the journeyman, lay out the floor, lay out the hangers, lay out all the pipe cut pieces. I would take the measurements of the pipe cut pieces, put them on a list, give them to the apprentice. The apprentice would cut all the pieces and bring them to that location. And when the journeyman showed up, he had the material, the layout right there on the floor. Okay? That is the exact same thing that is now done on the computer. When I was doing it in the field, I was good at it because I had so much knowledge and so much experience in doing that layout. And everybody understood that that's the layout that worked. Why would I ever think that I could do the same exact process on the computer with somebody with zero piping experience? It's just not right. It's just not the right way to think about it. It's not the right way to do it. And it gives a bad name, like you were saying, Nathan, that, where BIM has its, bad name, that's where it gets its bad name. When you're first fitting off of a riser is right into the middle of a piece of steel, you're done. You're done with the entire drawing. I've been there myself. Somebody's given me, a detailer's given me a drawing. First fitting off of the storm riser is right into the steel. It doesn't matter where anything is after that point. I was done. I took those drawings and they became a paper airplane. That's what they became, and I did it myself. And the same thing, just because you put more time, more effort, more money onto the technology side and give them a model, if it's garbage, it's still garbage. And no one is going to follow it. Nobody's going to have the respect and the trust in it.